In Nigeria right now, the elections are a few days away, and we cannot deny the fact that there is so much tension in the air, so much anxiety in the air, enough to affect your mental health. As much as that is so important, I am here to actually tell you why being neutral about the coming elections is going to affect your mental health adversely. Oftentimes, you hear people make statements like, it's not my business, whatever you choose to do with your vote. I don't care about politics. I don't care about governance. I don't care about corruption. I don't care what your leaders do. It's not my business. I just want to focus on my mental health. The question is, are you really focusing on your mental health by not knowing what's happening around you? By not knowing that whatever your leaders do affects your mental health? Leaders more or less decide the direction of a group. Whatever group that is, the leader has 90% of the role to play in that group. If a leader is laid back, it is difficult for people not to be laid back. If the leader is the most laid back, he or she becomes the weakest link and is going to drag the whole team behind. And so you cannot say you want to be focused on your mental health when you are not interested in who becomes your leader in any ramification you can think of, at any level and in any field. And that's why it's important for you to know how your action or your inaction when it comes to politics affects your mental health. Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. This is Paula's Health Tricks, and I make videos to help you stay on top of your mental health game. You might want to consider subscribing to my channel and click on the bell button so that you don't miss out on my new videos. I'm about to share the video to anyone who you think might be in need of this video. According to Kevin Smith, politics is a chronic stressor. It's not something whose impact spikes during and after campaigns or elections. You know why? Because the outcome of the elections, the tribunals, the going to court and coming from court and all of that, and even the aftermath of whoever emerges as a leader actually affects you. So what informed this video? A lot is happening right now, and the elections in my country, Nigeria, are around the corner. And a lot of people are taking sides, a lot others are neutral. Some other people do not even know what is happening, they are unaware. And when you try to engage with people who are either not aware or are not interested, they tell you, I don't want anything to stress me. I just want to focus on my mental health. And I believe it's not a way to focus on your mental health. Yes, I understand that the anxiety comes with campaigns and elections and not being worried about who's going to emerge. Many people are worried about things getting worse than they used to be. Some others are hopeful that things will get better depending on who steps into government and all of that. But staying inactive or not getting interested in what's happening does not guarantee that your mental health is going to be secure. Not now, not tomorrow. In little ways, you can actually influence who becomes your leader and in turn improve your mental health in the long run. And when the results come, it's going to affect you whether you like it or not. There are several policies that, if pushed or implemented, I bet you that you might sleep and not want to wake up. I mean, it can push you so much to the wall mentally that you don't want to live anymore. Take for instance, I was in the Holocaust Memorial a few years ago, and I went through the memorabilia. I was like, is this what people have to go through because of who became leader at some point, because of who gave orders to people? And this was what was on the person's mind, and the person gave orders and orders were executed. Because of the virtue of that position, orders are going to be obeyed. Are these orders going to be the right orders? Are they going to be the wrong orders? It is still the person who becomes leader that decides that. Imagine people using human beings as guinea pigs because they had the power to do that. They had the influence to do that. You know, the extent at which people can go because they are in power, you cannot actually decipher. You cannot imagine it. And that's why it's important to put the right people there. The person in power can control how safe, secure, well-fed, gainfully employed, and educated you are. The person in power can decide to focus on aspects that will improve your mental health. They can decide to focus on passing bills that push mental health and bring it to the forefront and make it a priority, and ensure that mental health facilities are equipped and are up and running for the citizens. They can ensure that policies that criminalize things that jeopardize your mental health are in place. And if that happens, your mental health will improve. They can decide how much quality sleep you get. If you're safe, if you feel safe and secure, you're going to have a higher quality of sleep than when you feel insecure. You feel something can happen the next second. Your leader can decide that. If the person in power decides that your drinking water is not their problem, does not concern them, and should not be a cause for concern, then you can acquire diseases in the process of drinking dirty water. If the person in power decides that the country will not be educated for as long as they are in power, then there'll be strike actions more often than they are supposed to be. And I don't know why there should be strike actions, if the government meets the need of the citizens in a balanced way. The more educated a nation is, the more there is a possibility that that nation gets richer. Education actually equips you, and I don't want to go into all of that. According to a study by Sharma, Singhal, and Tar, efforts to reduce corruption and improve governance actually result in substantial psychosocial and mental health benefits for everyone involved, the citizens and the government. Do you know why? I will just take harassment bribe as an example. In cases where you have to give tips to get the things that ordinarily you should get without paying tips, you feel some levels of helplessness. You feel shortchanged. You feel unhappy. You feel like you're not encouraged. You feel robbed and disenfranchised. Imagine where you pay taxes, and even if you're not employed, you pay value added tax. And even after all of that, you're not able to access the basic amenities, basic necessities that your tax is supposed to give you access to, such as good drinking water, good roads, education and healthcare. Bad governance can give rise to high levels of anxiety, of frustration, of helplessness, inability to plan, lack of safety and security. I'm going to give you 4 ways through which you can actually get involved in politics and governance in order to improve your mental health and the mental health of people around you. Let's go, guys. The first step is to be informed. How do you get informed? Look for the books, read them. Do you know the constitution of your country? Do you know how leaders emerge? Do you know what happens in the processes that allow leaders to emerge? Do you have voter's card? Do you have a right to vote? Do you know the age at which someone becomes eligible to vote? These are little things you should get involved in. You can follow the news. It is good to keep yourself up to date. By being informed, some level of helplessness is taken off your shoulders. You feel empowered to be able to make objective arguments, to be able to engage in objective convincing. So when you get informed in what is happening, then you will know the reason why it is important to get yourself involved in politics and governance. 2, get involved locally. You don't have to go to the country level or the international level to be able to be useful to your country or the globe. Surprisingly, it's extremely beneficial for you, your circle, your family, and your community to get involved locally in what happens. You must not necessarily run for office, but you can canvass for votes for people who you think share your values, people who know what is right for the people, which I expect that you know, people who are really interested in the growth of the community, of the society, of the country. You can encourage people to choose the right persons, and that is how you can come in locally. 3 is vote. If you are eligible to vote and be voted for, it is important for you to equip yourself well enough by getting all the requirements, maybe your biometrics or your card or whatever it is that enables you to be able to cast your vote. In any form, you should be able to vote, be available. Vote and ensure that you do not cast a vote that is going to get you disqualified. There are many demonstrations on how you can vote in the polls and how you can, ensure that your vote does not come out disqualified, because it means that all of your efforts from getting there, from voting, from staining your hand with an ink and all of that for secret balloting, which is the system that Nigeria runs, is wasted. Do not allow your votes to be wasted by casting an invalid vote. Your vote actually is something that nobody can take away from you, is something that reflects your choice, your values, your preferences, your conscience. When you've done that, you actually feel powerful. You feel like you have done something good for your country. And even if it turns out that it wasn't the person who you voted for that came out successful, you don't have to beat yourself over it. You did your best, which was to go and vote. You don't want to have these pangs of guilt knowing that your vote alone could have cost the victory. And so I mean, you should go out and vote. It's very important. Next is volunteer. Get involved. Volunteer. Even if you're not able to get all your voting requirements, or you're not able to eventually vote for some reasons, maybe you misplaced your card or something, get involved. Go to the voting centers, go to the polls, go to your the center where people gather to vote, and ensure that you join in counting the votes and making sure that the votes are counted and that they count. So you can get refreshments for people who voted. Ensure that you join your voice to demand for a safe and secure voting environment, which I'm sure that your government is willing to provide for people who actually want to vote, and get them refreshments, lighten their moods. On that day, there's so much tension during elections. Friendships are broken, people are agitated, are anxious, are afraid. And one of the ways you might be able to douse all of that pressure is to lend your voice, to try to encourage people, assure them that everything is okay, make the environment safe. And the last is remain healthy, remain safe, practice self-care, meditate. The news are new every day. I mean, they just keep coming every day, and that's why they are news. And you don't want to be carried away in all of the anxiety in the air, the fear, the uncertainties, the helplessness that is circulating everywhere. People just come up with things, and then everyone becomes afraid. People come up with others and douse the fear, and then you wake up next day and something else comes up, and you're just worried. When will all of this end? So practice self-care, meditate, try to increase your endurance levels by, of course, you already know, the yoga and all of that. Try to take care of your own health, so that whatever stressors come your way, they don't take down your immunity. Your immunity is always ready. Take care of your hygiene, always be alert. So guys, I hope you learned a thing or two, and I hope you have learned that staying neutral does not improve your mental health after all, especially in the long run. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and I hope you stay on top of your mental health game now, before the elections, during, and beyond. So guys, until next time, bye bye.